get to the game in a moment, but just more broadly, the journey you've been on with this club from when you stepped into now is just the undisputed benchmark of the competition. 2 flags in a row. How's that feel?
Yeah, we've come a long way from those early days. Trained at Cooperoo on a paddock out the back of Cooperoo Oval, and no real home, to having a fantastic training facility and a footy team that's, if you're a Brisbane Lions supporter, you could only be 100% proud of. I've done it the hard way. It's taken us, I don't know how long we've been going on this, Will. Probably this is my 9th year as coach, I think. So the first couple of years we didn't make too much ground. I think we finished bottom in my second year with 5 wins, and then from that point in time onwards we've been playing in finals, and ever so gradually we worked our way towards the top. And the last 3 years have been pretty special. We've played in the 3 grand finals and we've been able to win the last 2. And the one that we won this year, there's been a lot of adversity and a lot of challenge when you think about it. We had the toughest draw. I think that's pretty well documented. We had a lot of blokes that played in last year's grand final that didn't play in today's grand final. We're out there with a lot of 22 and unders playing. So it all bodes well for the club as long as we stay calm and don't get ahead of ourselves. But it's just been an amazing ride, and they're such a good group of men, and they handled the premiership win last year particularly well, I thought. And that's not easy to do because you get a lot of accolades when you win premierships, and it's quite intoxicating. And the boys turned up in good shape pre-season, even though we had a lot of blokes that had surgeries, and went to work again and found a way to do what we did today, and doing it the hard way again, having to play 4 finals. I think that sort of suits us somehow. That's a long answer to your question, I know, but anyway.
And when you started making finals, you had yourselves in really good positions in the first 4 campaigns, and probably you could have dropped your bundle because you probably blew some really good chances. But then, what does it say about the mental fortitude of the group to just keep coming back, knocking on the door, and now you're 2-time premiers?
I think, one of the things I tried to teach the boys about when I first got to the club was the concept of having a growth mindset, and the fact that if you want to be any good, you're going to fail a fair bit until you get there. And I always talked about the idea of failing our way to the top, and that's what we did. We got into some finals, and for the first 3 years there, I think we won 1 out of 6 finals. Had a few lessons. But since that point in time, we've really become a very good finals team, and that's all on the back of learning our lessons. I think it's a good way to live your life, to be honest with you. Just, make mistakes, learn and get better. I've got a saying up on our wall. It's a famous Nelson Mandela quote: "We never lose, we either win or we learn." And that's the attitude that we've tried to take, and I think everybody's embraced that at the footy club. We don't get too upset when we lose. Today's probably a good example. We got a lesson from Geelong 3 weeks ago, and we went to work on it, and we obviously had to win 2 finals to get another chance. But hopefully today you saw that we learned some things from that game and did some things better, and we ended up with a premiership. So very proud of the group.
Chris, how tough was the Lockie Neale call, and how close was he to playing a full game? And how amazing was it that he comes out and has 17 and 7 clearances and a goal?
Yeah. I was lying in bed last night thinking I'm going to either look like a total idiot or a total genius after today's game. If we had lost and he only played a half, we'd probably be bemoaning the fact that we went about it in that way. But the bottom line was this: Lockie was fit to play, but how much game time could he play? Because basically he'd played 1 game in 8 weeks, 1 game in 56 days. And coming into a grand final, I was a little bit worried about his ability to see the whole game out if he had to actually start. So Lockie and I had a good chat during the week about, I want to play you, mate, if you're right to go, but this is the bit of the puzzle that we have to sort out. And he and I both agreed that the best way to do it was for him to start on as a sub and introduce him into the game. And look, I didn't know when that was going to be, but it felt right to do it at half time. I was pretty grateful that we're equal, and I thought he could come on and bring great energy in the second half, which is exactly what he did. So It was a bit of a bold plan, I suppose, and it's come off, but it might not have too.
Chris, from a coaching perspective, 11 goals 7 to 4 goals 5 at stoppage today, that was the major difference in the game. You just really went at them from that point of view and really set the game up. Was that an orchestrated method today? Was that something that you really zoomed in on to try and focus on, to try and get that ascendancy?
Yeah, we did. I mean, I think we got cleaned up last time we played it from stoppage. They kicked a big score from stoppage themselves in the qualifying finals. So, yeah, we did do a fair bit of work on that. It was probably more that night, and Will can probably back me up on this. We over-handballed and we brought pressure on ourselves, and they got the turnovers and got us on the outside. Today, we just had the view that if we can get our hands on the footy at a stoppage, we're going to get it out of there as quick as we can and get it out into the open, which I think we did quite successfully. I'll have to go back and look at the tape, but those numbers would suggest that we didn't turn the ball over by hand anywhere near as much as we did in the qualifying final.
Mates, you mentioned all the hurdles that you've overcome this year, the injuries and the difficult draw. Did you ever think there was a stage where it might be a bridge too far?
I was a bit worried about it after we lost to Geelong in that first final, I'll be honest, because it was a comprehensive batting that we received, but it seemed to wake us up, and we responded really well. And probably the last 3 weeks we've played the best footy that we've played all year. But I was worried, and I was just worried too that with the toughness of our draw, which it clearly was, that whether we'd played, that last 6 weeks, it felt like we were playing a final every week, and I just didn't know how much longer the boys could keep going. And I was even a little bit worried today that we might have run our race coming into this game, but it wasn't the case. They're just an amazing group that keep on keeping on.
Just the guy here, right? He headed in. You knew you were going to get a good player heading in to the 23 season, because in your wildest dreams, imagine the impact that this young man's had on the team in such a short amount of time.
No, it's been pretty good, hasn't it? 2 normies in 2 years. Who knows? You might have got a third one if he had played in 2023. And maybe we might have won. I can't say that. But he's had a very, very positive impact. He's a real professional. He loves the big games. He's tough. Not just just a skillful player, but he's a tough player as well. And he's still young. And he seems to take things in his stride as well. He's had a great final series, and I couldn't be more proud of him. We're very lucky to have him and his brother at the club, and that's the exciting thing. Levi this day last year was talking about how good it would be to play in a premiership with Will, and a year later he did it. So that's pretty cool for the Ashcroft family, I'd say.
How does that feel, Will?
Yeah, it's amazing. We're just talking about it out in the field there with the family, like to do it that quickly, for him to come in and play every game this year, and then to get here was a cool achievement, and to win it in that sort of fashion is amazing. And it's a credit to all the hard work Levi's put in. Culmination of a lot of things. So it's amazing and exciting future, like Fag said.
Does it make it more special with him there as well?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it's very different. Like for me individually, last year, I was probably a bit more shocked when I was announced to Norm and won the premiership last year, just because of where I was halfway through the year. I hadn't even played yet. I was coming back from ACL, just trying to find my feet. I think I played 9 games potentially in the home and away season, and was just sort of grateful to be playing finals really. And then to have that moment was amazing. But then this year to build and have Levi at the club all the way through was probably a bit more emotional for the family, and a pretty amazing feeling to have him here. Can't wait to try and do it again.
Your mum was pretty happy.
Yeah, she's stoked. Yeah, the parents get probably more nervous and ride the emotions more than what we do, I reckon. So, they're pretty stoked and over the moon.
How was the moment, Will, when Levi danced around the man on the mark, and it was probably the kick of his career so far?
Yeah.
The arc.
Yeah, it was amazing. I was on the bench, and I can sort of sense when his mannerisms a little bit. He held the ball for a bit longer than he probably would usually. And I had a feeling he'd sort of duck inside there, and he just must hit it sweet, and it sort of rode it home. So that was an amazing sort of moment for him, and the boys got around him, which was cool.
Well, you're the youngest and quickest in terms of games to 2 Norm Smiths in the game's history. You sort of pinch yourself. Can you sort of believe what you've done?
Yeah, no, it's hard to talk about, to be honest. all the way through from when I was a youngster, I would always come to grand finals, and I just love it. Like we kick the footy across the road. We dream about playing on grand final day, and for me, like, to be honest, I've always set myself and even I think through that ACL rehab, to be honest, I had a lot of time to think and sort of try and set myself up to come back and play footy again. I think for me, it's always been about getting opportunity to play in finals, big finals, in grand finals, and then win, and to contribute heavily. That's sort of where I want to have my legacy, I guess, on the game. So yeah, I would never dream of being in this situation after 3 years in the league, but yeah, to be here is something I always sort of dedicate myself to, and but obviously it's not just me. It's amazing what the footy club has done for me over the last 3 years. The boys from the 44, whatever we have at the club, everyone seems to find a way to step in and play a role and contribute if they're not playing. It's amazing. I've never seen anything like it. So that's why I'm so confident and excited for what the future has as well.
Fags, what does it mean to you to see Oscar McInerney get his moment in the sun?
A lot. And Darcy Gardner as well. It would have been nice if Kitty Coleman and Link McCarthy could have been around today as well. They've missed out on a lot of footy due to ACL injuries, but it was we spoke about it, the fact that we had two blokes in there that didn't get a medallion last year that could have been in the team, and let's try and do it for them. And we had another hero this year that didn't play, in Jared Berry, because he's sort of selfless. He admitted at training the other day that even though he thought he might be able to play, he was pretty anxious about letting the team down, so in the end made the call not to play. But he's been huge for us. We talked about brotherhood's a big thing in our club. A lot of the boys have moved away from home and to come and play footy up there, and so a really close group of people, and Jared Berry's probably the driver of that. Probably has been from even when he was like only first or second year player, he was driving that sort of culture at the footy club. So we were sad for him today that he couldn't play, but we had his jumper hanging up on the doors as we went out, and everyone touched it, and there was a bit of doing it for Bez in it as well. I'm so glad he got a flag last year, but no, for Oscar and Darcy Gardner, brilliant.
Will,
Brandon starts speech. How's he going? His concussion, right?
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be too bad, but I guess you wait and see what happens in the next 2 or 3 days. Sometimes the boys with concussions can go backwards a couple of days after the event, but he seemed fine. He's been a bit unlucky with those this year.
Chris, you've got an amazing host of young players led by this man here who, the bigger the moment, the better they play. How are they able to keep doing it in your opinion?
I don't know. I suppose we don't put any limits on them. I mean, I don't go, you're a 10-game player, just do your job and don't be yourself. We try and encourage our players to play to their strengths and use their weapons. And I've done that from the day I first started. It took a while for them to have the confidence to do it, but the younger boys that have come into the club in more recent times have walked into that sort of culture, and they're just encouraged to be themselves and to play as part of a team, of course, but to show what they've got, and we don't hold them back.
And just to follow up for Will, that culture of empowerment, how much does that help you guys as youngsters?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think Fags is spot on. But I think also, I think the young guys that have come in my draft and after that, I think just the intent to get better and always look to improve. Like you can fall into the trap if you're young to sort of just come in and tick the boxes and hope to get a game and hope to contribute in some way. But I think everyone's sort of, and it sort of ties in what Fags is saying, you're coming in and you're looking to improve and get better and making an impact straight away, because why not? The junior pathway now all the way across the nation is really good and prepares young players to contribute at AFL level straight away, and there's no limitations on that. So I think that's the culture that Bez and those boys have set up for us. Just allows us to it filters all the way through the footy club. So I think being in these situations for all the young guys to feel this moment and only makes that more exciting for the years to come.
I'd give a shout out to our leadership group too. It's a big group. There's about 8 of them, but they spend a lot of time with the younger players, teaching them about the game, and I think that's helped enormously as well.
Manfield obviously just overwhelmed Geelong's in the second half. Was there a moment in the third quarter, even early in the fourth, where you thought you guys drew on that confidence where you got them pretty much?
Yeah, I think the whole narrative for us internally this week's been about process and pounding the rock and just living our trademark on the field. So there was no sort of moment where we think, oh, we got him here, or it's a turning point. I think it's, no matter what the circumstances are, if it's going against us or if it's an arm wrestle or we're getting on top bit, just keep coming back to that mindset. And I think that was so evident today, especially through the midfield group, but across all lines. Our connection when the going got tough was unbelievable. So yeah, it was probably a credit to everyone's mindset just to keep coming back to that and not getting too frustrated if it wasn't going our way or getting too ahead of ourselves if it was. So that's, once again, a credit to the leadership group, but also the young guys and everyone else for buying in and just keep zeroing back in on our trademark.
So, Andrew McLeod and Dustin Martin and yourself, the only guys to go back-to-back norms with. How's that sit with you?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Yes.
There
he is. Something I'll probably reflect on and think about, but just to hear it. To be in that exclusive club, I guess, is a pretty cool feeling. So exciting. I've hopefully got a lot more years left in the league. So it's good to already be part of that club.
Thanks everyone. Thanks for
guys.
the year. Appreciate it.
Thank you.